you have been invited to an exclusive garden party in the courtyard of the great palatial imperial palace of Barack H. Obama II. Join us and donate $40,000 for a plate of Kobe beef to help pay for the emperor's coronation later next year, 2012. And we're sure to have a good turnout, as we have acquired some of the world's most highly compensated jesters, Jennifer Hudson and Herbie Hancock, as well as the rock band OK Go. In commemoration of our great emperor's 50th birthday celebration, the Soviet Union is printing a new postal stamp in honor of his successes as the great president of the United States of America, who has brought peace and prosperity to the world.
Welcome to part 2 of Liberty Evolution Radio. In the previous segment, we were talking about corruption in Washington and the 375 millionaires that supposedly were elected by us and are supposed to represent us. This is Adam Keller, and here is Gabe Holmes.
And it just came out that Nancy Pelosi has increased her personal worth by 68% in the past year. How does that happen? I've heard rumors that Harry Reid has made tons of money as a congressman. It's just obscene, really. Who are they representing? They're not representing you or I. Because I can tell you this much, there are very few politicians who I contribute money to, and it's usually Ron Paul, and to the tune of $25.
And exactly, that's why just the belief that the individual can change something, that's why Ron Paul, for example, only accepts donations from individuals, not these secretive companies that just dissolve overnight. We need to continue getting this message out there. We're somewhat preaching to the choir right now, but the importance, do not waste your vote. Quit voting for these people. Opt out of the system. These people are not serving your interests.
And the other side of that is you need to be leaders yourself and find other people who can afford to run for Congress or their local or state governments, who are principled, who have the right solutions, who aren't just saying, oh, I support this, I oppose that. They need to have the right solution. They need to be talking about the Fed. They need to be talking about what kind of things actually contribute to job growth, rather than saying, I support more jobs, because everyone knows that the government can't create jobs. The government can create government jobs, but it's usually when government gets out of the picture, the market is able to make jobs.
The marketplace, for sure, can do what government cannot. Government is not able to increase the worth of the economy. We've seen this. Everything they touches just pretty much turns into dirt. I mean, pretty much worth nothing. And when presenting a problem, you must always counter with a solution. And our solution is this liberty evolution that we speak of. We encourage you to seek office if you are comfortable doing that. If you are not, or if you do not believe in working within the system, which I'm sure there's a lot of people in the liberty community that do not, do something. Be more active every day. Speak more truth every day. What we are preaching is right. Freedom and peace and prosperity. Become the message. That is our whole goal. We've been talking about this the whole time since Liberty Evolution's inception, but overall, we all know government is a massive failure. Everything turns into dirt that it touches. Only individuals such as you, me and Gabe, and your friends can take upon an interest and then make it a goal and hopefully see successes in materialization of that goal.
Right. Organize events. Call your local radio station and get the hosts on the AM stations to talk about relevant things, and write editorials in your local papers and start independent papers. You don't have to run for office. You will realize that doors will open for you, and you'll meet all kinds of new people once you take that first step. Start organizing groups in your cities, and a lot of people are, and just become active the most that you can. You'll accomplish great things.
Accomplishing great things really just starts with the simple idea of liberty. All it is we think it's better, but it is really an opinion. It's an idea. Now we need to take the idea and make it the fuel and keep chugging along. Really keep promoting freedom. There's two sides to this problem with what happens with government. There's many of you that complain about what the government's doing and they won't do anything about it, and then there's the opposite side that says, well, government's not doing enough, they're not really helping us out, and then searching for this hero. Stop expecting the government to do this. This is us. We can be the alternative that creates success in the future and betters the chances of humanity surviving further, becoming peaceful and prosperous, because we can say it till the end of time, government is a failure, but until we actually act upon a success to combat that failure, we will be inefficient with our message.
Yeah, and your best weapon is information. Research the Federal Reserve. Look at how they granted trillions of your dollars to foreign banks, $16 trillion worth. It's just obscene. A lot of people are getting rich right now while the rest of us are suffering. There's an enormous amount of people unemployed, and they're saying that a lot of people, 3/4 of the people who've been unemployed for over a year, will never find employment. What kind of future are we setting ourselves up for? Other countries are using cheap labor, and we're exporting all of our production to those countries to keep prices low. When there's people who don't have jobs here, they could be producing things. We depend too much on corporations to deliver cheap goods to us. If it was easier for small businesses to compete with those corporations, we would see a lot of change in this country. And that has to do with the fact that we pay $100 billion a month in interest on the debt incurred. We have an aggressive tax system, which unproportionately harms the middle class, and the huge corporations can work out deals with government so that they don't pay a relative amount of taxation that could be collected from small businesses paying a little amount if those small businesses were allowed to compete. And what I'm saying about information is use that information to your advantage. Seek out the knowledge that you can find in books and the internet and share it with other people, and be confident and positive and know what you're talking about, and win arguments. Study rhetoric and the art of argument, and proving that people use fallacies in their arguments. They repeat things that MSNBC or other corporate media has told them. They're never going to get the big picture. It's important to get your knowledge from various different sources and point out to people who only get their information from one source that propaganda does exist, and it always will exist. And whose propaganda do you want to be immersing yourself in the propaganda of the government and the corporations, which benefit from the international slave trade. Essentially, that's what it is we're benefiting from the de facto slavery in foreign countries by exporting our production to them so we can get cheap goods, and a lot of people are benefiting from the de jure slavery, which it comes hand in hand with a Federal Reserve Bank.
Oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist, Gabe. You're just going off on these rants. Where's your basis? It was not on MSNBC. I do not believe it. But I mean, they say that you repeat a lie long enough, it just becomes truth. Repetition make a lie truth. Well, let's flip that trend. Let's keep promoting what we know is right, and maybe we can flip that into say a truth long enough, and hey, people wake up and say, that really is the truth. Profiteering, it goes so deep, from murder to slave trade. I mean, people make so much money off of war and slavery. There's no outrage. Where is the outrage, really? There isn't any, and there won't be until, like we were discussing off air, till bread is $50 a loaf. There's not going to be outrage until it's too late. So all we can do is promote this information, say, hey, look, this is wrong. We can't be inefficient and be hateful and just yell at people, because it's just natural human tendency to ignore the crazy lunatic that's just yelling. Be efficient and informed and make clear points.
Right, and consider this. I mean, one of the most wildly popular presidents in American history, John F. Kennedy, took the Federal Reserve Bank head on by trying to create a competing currency which was based on something of actual value, silver. And these dollars that were being made during a short amount of time in his presidency, I mean, they would have threatened the Fed's preeminence to the point where it would no longer exist. And you have to ask yourself, who would have benefited from that action? I can tell you that a lot of people are benefiting from the Federal Reserve System, but it isn't the regular American, the regular working class person. They're the ones who would have benefited from a currency which has actual value. Also, look at how Kennedy tried to keep us out of the Vietnam War. Who would have benefited from us staying out of the war? I can tell you that a lot of people benefited from us going into the war, specifically the military-industrial complex, whereas the general American working-class person would have benefited from us staying out of the war, would have benefited from us not spending an enormous amount of money getting ourselves involved in a foreign conflict for which we could never win and never would win. The same parallels are existent in our country today, where we have a global empire that is express purpose is to prevent these Middle Eastern countries from having any kind of dominance in their region, so that we can continue to rape their resources, when there's resources within our own borders that our government will not let private enterprise access, that we could access resources through trade and have mutual benefits, but we'll never see that happen so long as we have a destructive parasite of government destroying our markets and hurting our ability to trade.
That's right, Gabe. To me, government is just a roadblock. It's a roadblock to progress. Progressives can say they're trying to progress society, but really they support roadblocks in humanity with government regulation. We're going to wrap up part 2 here and continue our discussion in part 3, so tune into that. We're just trying to reiterate that the sharing of information is very important. Please share whatever you want, literally, on our Facebook page, facebook.com/libertyevolution.